Guys, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're doing another week of workouts. I started a new workout program for myself about 3 or 4 weeks ago, and I'm planning on doing it for a total of 7 to 8 weeks, maybe even longer. I'm gonna see how I feel in a few weeks and then reassess. So since I'm on a new program, I wanted to walk you guys through exactly what I'm currently doing. For a while, I was doing a 3-day split, but I'm feeling motivated again to work out and be back in the gym, so I bumped myself back up to 4 days a week. We're gonna be doing 2 upper body days and 2 lower body days. Today is day 1 and we're hitting a pull day, which is back and biceps. I always start each and every workout with dynamic stretching in order to warm up my body. For upper body days, I like using a long resistance band to help wake up and warm up my arms, back, and shoulders. I do a lot of arm circles to open up those shoulders and get them mobile to work. As well, I like to mimic some exercises I'll be doing in the actual workout. So stuff like rows and pull-aparts. Now moving into the workout itself, we're starting off with assisted pull-ups. I can honestly say I haven't done these in at least like 8 months or so I've definitely lost my strength to do unassisted pull-ups, which is why I made a goal of mine this year to work towards that and get that strength and confidence back. I pick a moderate weight for this and I'm completing 3 sets of 10 reps. Next exercise is lat pull downs, which is probably hands down my favorite back exercise ever. You can totally use a seat with a straight bar at the cable machine to complete, but my gym has this machine version, which I've just been loving, and it's honestly been a nice change up other than that standard lat pull down on the cable like I just mentioned. You want to make sure that the pad resting on your thighs is locked in tight so your thighs and butt don't come up at all during the movement. You want to think about bringing your elbows down and towards your waist. You don't want them flared out. Again, I'm doing this for 3 sets of 10 reps. Next, I'm moving over to the cables and I'm doing a close grip pull down, or sometimes also called a neutral cable pull down. It has a few different names, but it's the same thing, different font. Keep in mind the same thing here with the thigh pad. Your butt should not lift off that seat at all. Since this is a neutral grip, I keep my palms facing each other with my elbows tucked in. Again, you don't want them to flare out. You want to keep your arms and elbows close to your body throughout the entire movement. And again, I'm doing this for 3 sets of 10 reps. Taking a little break from the back exercises because at this point in the workout, my back is on fire. So we're going to be doing the one and only bicep exercise of the day, barbell bicep curls. In 2023, I really struggled with tennis elbow in my right arm. If you've seen any of my other week of workout videos or any vlogs where I'm doing, a back day workout, you would know that. Lately, it's been feeling really good though because I took a break from doing any bicep exercises. So I told myself moving forward, I'm going to incorporate it back in, but I'm going to be doing lightweight and lots of reps in order to exhaust my biceps. I was finding the pain was more noticeable when I would go heavy in bicep curls. So for this, I'm going to be doing 20 pounds and doing 5 sets of 10 reps. Second last exercise of the day, we're doing single arm dumbbell rows. So a couple tips to keep in mind here. 1, you want to keep your core tight and spine neutral. There shouldn't be any arching anywhere along your back line. Second thing is you want to keep your elbows tucked in, and when you're rowing the weight, you want to think about rowing it to your hips. So instead of rowing it straight back, your arm path should make a little swoop from the starting point to your hip. Hopefully that makes sense. I'm doing 3 sets of 10 reps per arm. Last up on the list for today's back and biceps day is back extensions. These are so great for your erectors and your lower back muscles because you aren't really targeting them in other exercises, or there's not really many other exercises that hit this area. I haven't done them in a while, so I'm currently just doing them body weight with higher reps. I'm completing 3 sets, 12 reps. So some cues for you to do this correctly are toes should be pointed straight. They shouldn't be on an angle like you would have them in a glute hyperextension. Keep your core tight and the movement is through the hips. At the end of the movement, this is where your body and spine should be neutral and in a straight line. You don't want to overarch at the top or you could injure or strain your lower back. Happy day 2 of this week of workouts. Today we're hitting quads and glutes. Like yesterday's workout, I started off with dynamic stretching, but this time for the lower body. My aim here is to get my legs warmed up and open up my hips and get that good mobility and flexibility going before I jump into my workout. I've always struggled with really tight hip flexors, so warming up beforehand has dramatically helped with that. So as you can see, I do a lot of leg swings, so I'm doing them forward and backwards and then side to side, and then kind of like opening them up, doing forward to the inside almost, and I'm doing that on both legs. I also like doing these like little lunges. I switch sides, I do my left side, and then I'm kind of like opening my hips, moving them left to right, and then I like stretching, my back and just opening everything up. That's the whole point of this. Now to kick it off, we're starting off strong with the pendulum squat. I seriously have a love-hate relationship with this machine. I love it because it's so dang good for the quads, but it is so hard, y'all. Like, I literally sweat buckets and feel like my legs are going to fall off after using this machine, but it's so good. It's a really good thing. I know not all gyms have this machine, but if yours does, please use it. If your gym doesn't have it, you can substitute this with a hack squat. And if you don't have a hack squat, then you can do like barbell front squats. I'm doing this for 3 sets of 10 reps. Now you might have guessed it, it won't be a glute day without some hip thrusts. So I've opted to use this machine version, and I bang this out by doing 5 sets of 10 reps. This is the year for the booty gains. That is what I keep telling myself, and hip thrusts are by far one of the top exercises to get me and you there. Feet should be about shoulder width stance apart, and you want to keep your chin tucked and looking forward. This really helps you lock in those hips and tuck in those glutes in and under to really put the tension on them throughout the exercise. Next exercise is a new one for me. I think before this program, I did step ups like once or twice in my life. I'm not even joking. So in the theme of trying to do things differently in this workout program, here I am doing step ups. I think this is a highly underrated exercise for both the glutes and quads. It's so killer. I literally need a 5-minute rest in between each set because I simply cannot breathe. Now, I try and keep them a bit more glute focused, so I really think about shifting my hips back instead of focusing on shifting my working knee forward. I also have a slight lean forward, which helps target the glutes a little bit more. I complete 3 sets of 10 reps per leg. Second last exercise, the one that makes everyone have the ugliest workout faces, leg extensions. Again, these are so good for the quads and shouldn't be skipped. I think this is arguably the only exercise that targets your quads without any other muscle group at all, because when you think about it, any other form of like squats or any other, exercise, yes, they're good for your quads, but they're also using things like your glutes, hamstrings, and your calves. Whereas here, the only muscle working is your quads. I think having this towards the end of my workout really exhausts my quads too, so it ends it off with a bang. I do it for 3 sets, 10 reps. And then the 5th and final exercise of today's quad and glutes workout is the seated abduction. This machine is really good for those side glutes, and they're more of an accessory exercise, I would say. So that's why I like to do it very last. But I do know there's a lot of people that like to actually start their workout with seated abductions just to kind of like warm up their glutes. But like I said, I like it at the very end, and I'm doing 4 sets, 10 reps. Welcome to day 3, and today we're hitting a push day, so we're doing shoulders, chest, and triceps. I'm going to get right into the workout here since I already showed you my dynamic stretching warm-up routine. I pretty much do the exact same things I did before my back day, so there's kind of no need for me to show you again. I'm kicking it off with dumbbell seated shoulder presses. One very important cue for you to remember here is to have your arms slightly angled in front of you. So as you can see, my arms and elbows aren't directly to the side, but they're angled slightly forward, and we're doing 3 sets of 10 reps. Second exercise is seated vertical chest press. Honestly, I like this so much more than bench pressing. I used to bench press once a week for at least like 2 or 3 years, and I really think the bench press also contributed to my tennis elbow. I could be wrong, but when I did it, I noticed more pain in my elbow. So since I've completely stopped doing it, it's improved. So I definitely think it was a contributing factor. But anyways, this chest press variation is basically the same thing. It's just seated instead of lying on a bench. I'm doing it 3 sets, 10 reps. Moving into my favorite shoulder exercise, dumbbell lateral raises. If you want toned, bolder shoulders and delts, you cannot be missing out on these in your shoulder days. You want to think about leading with your elbows and bringing the weight away into the side of your body. People argue all the time about this, if you can have some movement or swing versus not, and I'm sure there's reasonings for both, but I personally don't see an issue with some swaying. I don't think it takes away from the weight that I'm using, but again, that's just my personal opinion and from my experience doing them. I do it for 3 sets, 12 reps. Second and last chest exercise of the day is machine chest flies. These are good because they obviously target your chest, but more so that inner pec area due to the fact that it's more of a hugging and or arcing motion, whereas like a bench or a chest press is a pushing motion. I'm doing this for 3 sets, 10 reps. This is also really good for if you have like shoulder pain or any shoulder issues, because the chest fly uses less shoulder engagement than a chest press or bench press would. Now, the one and only tricep exercise of the day is rope tricep extensions or push downs, whichever way you want to call them. I stand about a foot away from the cable with a slight staggered stance. I have a slight bend in the hips, and I think about pulling the rope apart at the bottom of the exercise. This really helps target the triceps and put them under some tension. Since it's the only tricep exercise we're doing, I'm doing 5 sets total, 10 reps, and I'm using a pretty heavy weight. I know this isn't a push day exercise, but like I said at the beginning of this video, I want to prioritize my goal of doing unassisted pull-ups, and the only way to do them is to practice. So I ended this workout off by doing assisted pull-ups again. We're not doing anything crazy here, just hitting 2 sets of 8 reps. We have made it to the 4th and final day of this week of workouts, and you may have guessed it, but we're hitting legs, specifically full legs. So we're doing a little bit of everything here. Again, no need to show you my dynamic warm-up for this day. It's exactly the same as my day 2 leg day. We're getting right into doing a killer glute superset. So first, we're doing dumbbell hip thrusts. I also added a resistance band for some extra tension for this. You're going to place the dumbbell on your hips, feet shoulder width stance. Your legs should make a 90-degree angle when you're at the top of the movement. Keep your chin tucked and eyes looking forward. I did this for 10 reps. Once completed, I dropped the dumbbell, removed the resistance band, and did 10 reps of single leg hip thrust per leg with no rest. So your normal hip thrust form tips still apply here. The main difference is that we're only using one working leg, which is the leg that's on the ground, versus hip thrust where you have 2 working legs. The other leg should shoot up with your hips at the top of the movement. I started with the left leg, did my 10 reps, and then I switched to the right leg. Once you've completed all of that, then you can take your rest, and that counts as 1 full set. We're going to be doing 3 sets total. Next exercise is one of my favorites also, dumbbell Romanian deadlifts, or otherwise known as RDLs. In my last workout program, I did barbell RDLs, so I wanted to switch it up and go back to dumbbells. You want to think about pushing your hips back as if they were trying to touch a wall behind you. Feet should be shoulder width stance. Keep your upper body tight and strong. Now, when your hips can no longer push back anymore, that's the end of the movement. So you're going to want to come back up, squeezing those glutes, and repeat. I did this for 3 sets of 10 reps. Now, my quads get a lot of action on the first leg day of the week. So for this full leg day, I'm only doing 1 quad exercise, which is this leg press. Specifically, this one I use is called a squat press, but it's basically the same thing. It's just a little bit more diverging than a commercial gym's leg press. Now, the most important thing to keep in mind about the leg press is to not let your knees lock out at the top of the movement. So by that, I mean you should keep a slight bend in your knee the entire time. Your knees and legs should not come to a complete straight line at the top of the movement. I did this for 3 sets of 10 reps. On this full leg day, we have to show some extra love to the hamstrings. So I'm going to be doing seated hamstring curls. You get a little bit of hamstring action in RDLs, but these curls definitely put the full target on the hamstrings, which is something we want in this workout. Make sure the pad on your legs is in between your knees and your hips, so somewhere on your thighs, and lock down tight so you don't lift up from your seat. I'm doing 3 sets of 10 reps, and I really like to focus on the eccentric movement, which is the movement from the bottom back up to the starting position. This is where most of the tension is on your hamstrings. So I like to go up a little bit slower than the pace when I initially pull the weight down. We're finally at the very end of the stretch, the last exercise to finish off this full week of workouts. We obviously have to get some calf action in here. So I'm doing these standing calf raises for 5 sets of 10 reps. You really want to think about pushing off of your toes. You don't want to be using your heel or anything. That is the last exercise of this 4-day workout split. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you have any questions, leave a comment down below or send me a message on IG. Otherwise, thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next video.